Hello, my name is Ivan Pichardo, and I'm going to be going over hackers and ethics. This image here shows the standard stereotype of hackers, that they are these dark, mysterious figures hiding behind computer screens, trying to steal your personal information and sensitive data, and that after they steal your personal information and sensitive data, they will then use it for malicious purposes such as extortion or stealing your identity. However, not all hackers fall into this stereotype, as there are hackers that follow ethical values and principles, such that understanding hacker ethics and ethical hackers can be helpful in bringing technologies to outside groups, advancements in software, and assistance in cybersecurity. To begin with, ha- understanding hacker ethics can be useful in bringing technology to outside groups. In their article, Castellanos Rivadeneira and Valerio Urena talk about hacker ethics and their impacts on this community project. The hacker ethics they mention are sharing, openness, decentralization, free access to computer, and world improvement. And their impacts are accessibility, self-determination and governance, openness, cooperation, and creativity and problem solving. So within it, they talk about how this guy was coming to this remote village uh, that was about an hour away from a city, and he was trying to bring the internet to them. Originally, he was doing it from profit motive, but then he swapped over to a community orientated approach as he was working with them. The community oriented approach worked better and prompted prompted the hacker ethics of openness, also decentralization. It gave them free it gave the community there free access to some technology that allowed them to send messages, receive messages, and gain some level of ability to access the internet as a whole, alongside with people being able to choose whether they use it or not and how much they will use it. This allowed this allows the hacker ethics of the man bringing the stuff over to shine through. And while hackers are generally more on the side of the individual, it was helpful in making this community project and making sure that they were able to get the technology that suited their needs. Not only that, but understanding hacker ethics and ethical hackers can be helpful in the advancements of software. One principle that nearly all hackers follow is working hard with computers and having a deep understanding of them. That they need to be able to control computers and know well computer programming. Such that in Kirkpatrick's article, he says that this attitude towards computing characterized what Levi calls the hardware hacker of the 1960s and 1970s. They were a loosely affiliated group distributed across the US who pioneered the development of personalized computers. Such hackers can be useful in developing programs that made computers from something that only hobbyists would enjoy to something that is more for the general person, that anyone could more easily access. Specifically, in this article, they mention how hackers provided the framework for interfaces. And while some hackers were against this because it made access to the computer, while some hackers were against this because it made it so that people did not have to have as deep of understanding of computers, it still brought upon more accessibility of computers throughout the land. That that anyone is more likely to be able to have a computer and be able to use it. Not only that, but hackers are very much for open source programs, aiding in their code to do things such as patching bugs and implementing features that make these programs more accessible and usable to other users. Another thing to mention is that understanding hacker ethics and ethical hackers can be useful in the field of cybersecurity. In their article, Lorenzini and their co-authors talk about how cybersecurity experts design their techniques based on assumptions about malicious hackers' behavior. Cybersecurity experts will not have all the details about what a hacker could do or will do, in which case an ethical hacker could come in and perform a penetrative test. Penetrative tests use actual hacker tools and equipment and techniques to penetrate through a system. However, they will not steal any information or data from the people they are doing these tests on. Instead, instead they would just tell the people that the clients that on how to improve and how to patch up these flaws in in their security systems. In which case, it makes it harder for other hackers to exploit such a flaw. It makes it so that it makes it so that they would have a harder time losing all this any data or information that they might have. Specifically in their article, they talk about medical field and how they could find this advantageous. However, this could be applied to other fields as well. Anything that has to do a lot with computers, storing digital data, and anything like that. In conclusion, hackers are a complex group with an interesting set of ethical values that could be helpful, that they can be useful in bringing technology to outside groups, advancements in software, and aiding in cybersecurity. These are the sources I use alongside the link for the photo I used.